Welcome to the video, everyone. Thanks for joining me today. So we are going to be kicking off the new year with some pretty exciting news that's going to have a significant impact on you as an Amazon seller, potentially on your profits and your sales and your overall business performance. Now, this isn't clickbait. I know some of my titles are a little bit clickbaity, but this is serious business, guys. And I'm going to be breaking down for you what this new change is and how it will impact you as a business. Now, this is the biggest change I've seen since the banning of incentivized reviews, which was way back in late 2016, so 5 years ago now, getting old. But this is exciting. I hope you enjoy the video. This is going to have a massive impact on your Amazon business. And let me know in the comment section if you've got any questions. Enjoy the video. As I mentioned in the introduction of the video, this is the biggest change that I've seen since the banning of incentivized reviews about 5 years ago. But unlike that change, which was largely a negative change for Amazon sellers, this is hugely positive, and it's going to potentially have a massive impact on your sales and your profits. Now, I'm going to break down why that is. I'm going to introduce what the change is to you all and give you some real life examples of how the change is already taking effect on the marketplace on Amazon. So, just firstly, to give you a bit of a grounding before we get into it, when we, as Amazon sellers, when we decide to start selling on Amazon and we launch a product, we understand we're going to be competing with Chinese sellers. Not every seller, but a large amount of sellers will be Chinese competition. Now, when customers are browsing the search results for products, that means they're going to be looking at their products, they're going to be looking at your products, they're going to be looking at the listings, the sales page, and they're going to be making a decision based on the product they think is superior. Now, that doesn't mean just which looks the best. That's a variety of different factors that customer will take into account. So, for example, the imagery, the standard of the product, how it looks in terms of quality. We're looking at the reviews on the listing, and as a seller, we're able to control a lot of those elements, and we're able to beat that Chinese seller in a lot of different ways with our listing. We can create better images, we can brand our products better, we can gain a better understanding of Amazon's sponsored advertising to help us rank quicker. We potentially will find it easier to gain reviews when we're based in the UK and they're selling into the UK. We'll be able to, again, understand how to embed keywords and do the proper keyword research for your listing to help us rank and to generate sales. These are things that we can control quite easily, and we can exceed the standard that competition is reaching with our own business. But one thing that we've always struggled with is competing with that seller on price. Now, from my experience, there are three core elements to a listing that really drive and impact the whether or not that person is going to purchase the product, and that is the reviews, the price, and the imagery. Now, we can control our reviews, we can control our imagery, but one thing that we've always struggled with is competing with these sellers on price. Now, why is that? Well, when we are purchasing from a Chinese supplier, they've obviously got their cost price and they make a markup on selling to us. So if we're competing with that same seller in that marketplace, they've obviously got a competitive advantage there because they can price their products cheaper than ours. Now, we know and understand that we can still be successful in that situation. And we've proven time and time again throughout the last 3 years with new launches on Amazon that we can crush this competition. But that being said, it would always have been nice to level the playing field, so to speak, with regard to pricing and not having to compete with a listing that is priced a few pounds less than yours and you're having to outdo them in every other way when they can just sell it a little bit cheaper and get they can level the playing field themselves by just manipulating the price. Now, how's this changed then? And it's a massive change. So post-Brexit, post the transition period, guys, there's been some new legislation that's passed. Now, I'm not going to read all this out to you. You can pause the video and have a look at it. But I'll just summarize and read you the main section. Now, to note, this is not going to affect your business. If you're a UK seller, you have a UK limited company selling on Amazon UK, you don't need to worry about any of these changes, but you do need to put a smile on your face and think, wow, this is going to be huge for me as a business. And if you're thinking of starting to sell on Amazon, and the fact that you were competing with Chinese sellers who had an advantage with pricing, if that was a barrier to entry for you or something that really held you back, this may be the news that you've been waiting for. So this is, and again, I'll show you the title so you can have a look at this yourselves. I'll link the URL in the description. So changes to the VAT treatment of overseas goods sold to UK customers, right? So let's go down to the part that's applicable to us. So goods in the UK at the point of sale sold by an overseas seller, Chinese seller, through an online marketplace. Now, this is what we are really interested in, okay? There is no VAT registration threshold for businesses not established in the UK. So the seller is liable to register and account for VAT as soon as it starts making sales or holds stock in the UK. Now, this wasn't the case before. Now, what this means is that Chinese seller who before was, let's say, using the example, was turning over £100,000 a year on Amazon, and they were taking all of the profit that they made on that. The change that this actually, that this is going to roll out for these sellers is they now have to pay 20% of those overall sales proceeds or revenue to HMRC. Think about that. So if that seller is generating £100,000 a year in turnover and revenue, they've now got to pay £20,000 to HMRC minus anything they can offset. But we'll use the example of the full 20%. £20,000 to HMRC. Now, if that seller had a 20% profit margin on that £100,000 before this change, it's now wiped it out to zero. So what does that mean in that example? Well, that means they have to put their prices up to account for the new payments of VAT that they're going to have to pay as sellers. And what does that mean for us? Well, all of our competition, who before was priced maybe a little bit lower than our listings, are now going to have to either take a massive hit on their profits or increase their price, making us far more competitive. And now not only can we dominate that seller with your listing, with branding, with imagery, with reviews, with optimization in all the different areas that we spoke about, but we can compete with them on price, which is one of the three core elements that I mentioned in the beginning of this video. It's a huge change. And let me show you guys, right? So using this example, we have a Chinese seller. I'll show you guys, they're based in China, and they're selling a laptop bag, right, for £19.99 at the moment, right? And we've also got a seller who is based in the UK, who is also selling a laptop bag, and they're selling their laptop bag for £14.99. This is actually an example where the UK listing is selling for cheaper than the listing that the Chinese seller is holding. Now, let's have a look then at this at the sales tracker with Helium 10. Now, note here, guys, this is the blue line demonstrates or illustrates the new price of the listing, $16.98. So when that was priced at $16.98, just around the start of January, it was quite closely priced to this listing, right? $14.99, $16.98, only £2 difference. Since the start of January, which almost coincides exactly with when these changes came in, the 1st of January, they've had to put their new price up from $16.98 to $19.98, so £2, which is almost an exact 20% increase in their price. Why? Because of this new change that's been introduced. So this listing is now not only £2 cheaper, it's £4 cheaper than that other listing. Now, what do you think that's going to do
for their sales. If they're directly, and this listing was directly competing with that listing for a search term on the first page, it's going to generate more sales for that listing and increase their overall profits for this ASIN. Now, that's just an example, guys. I found about 10 examples of like this, where prices have literally overnight increased by 20%, leveling the playing field between UK sellers selling into the UK and Chinese sellers who before, it was almost like tax evasion. You know, they were able to sell into our marketplace and not pay any VAT on their sales. Whereas for us as UK sellers, you know, if we were VAT registered, we were paying 20% of our sales proceeds minus what we offset to HMRC. It wasn't fair. So this news is going to be welcomed with open arms. I can already see from students who've reached out to me that sales have started to increase. They've noticed themselves that a lot of their competition has started to increase their pricing. So it's just exciting, guys. I'm, you know, the fact I'm able to share this with you all puts a smile on my face, because it's been a lot of there's been a lot of bad news over the last year with COVID, and it's nice to see something positive, basically. So yeah, bit of an introduction to it there, guys. If you want to take a read of this, you can check the link in the description. Go and check it out. It's not the most interesting read, but it's certainly applicable for you if you're an Amazon seller. So take care. Leave a comment below if you need to ask me anything, if you've got any questions, and I'll see you guys in the next one.